Hey, End Time Saints. This message is going to be pretty much a lot different than things I've talked about before. And hold on a minute. Something's going on. Okay, there. Today is the 12th of November, 2023. Yesterday was the 11/11 portal gateway opening. And I felt just a lot of just negative energy. I thought it was going to be positive because of a lot of the signs I've been getting, but it was negative. I had a severe headache, hadn't had a headache in quite a while, and then I was battling with just my stomach was upset and hadn't eaten. I cried off and on most of the day, and it's carrying in through this morning, and I've been up for at least 3 or 4 hours now. And just got done with another cry. And I'm like, what is this, Lord? So he's showing me some things, and this is going to really sound whacked, okay? I know this. But what isn't crazy anymore? So if you are truly a targeted, chosen individual, this is for you, okay? Because we witnessed some of the most bizarro things that don't seem real. And that's because I believe we really are the true women and true men stuck in a Trueman show. And this is some amazing things. Father revealed some of this to me over the last maybe 4 or 5 months, but now he's connecting all of it and what I believe is going on. This is my belief, okay? So first off, I'm probably not going to be on YouTube much longer because it is a continued source of stress and anxiety for me. If y'all saw some of the hateful things that I have to delete, if y'all saw some of the hateful videos made, just saying the most evil things and what makes it worse, about me, entire videos about me. What makes it worse is this is coming from a supposed believer. If you're truly a believer in Jesus Christ, you don't want to hurt other people. You don't slander and make up lies and just horrible things, okay? And then the messages that I get in my emails, I've been getting death threats. I've been being told that they're praying for my death, just all kinds of things. And no, I'm not scared, okay? Because I realize that our soul does not die. I would be frightened. I would be really scared right now if I knew that I was not on the right path, the path that leads to the Most High God. If I was not working on myself, if I was back in the world sinning like I was a couple months ago, just a few months ago, and the Lord brought me out of it. Father's been healing me of some things, and I wanted to tell y'all that are battling addictions like I have with drinking, that what Father is showing me that is healing me is doing soul searching and really looking at yourself and forgiving others that have hurt us. And as a targeted, persecuted individual, we are traumatized every day. Some are a lot greater than others, and we've been backstabbed by basically everyone that's around us. And I said, how can this be, Lord? I know there's some good people. I've met some good people, some kind-hearted people in the past. Why can't I have those in my life? What is going on? And he's showed me that there are some good people, but they're kept away from us, just like in the Truman Show. All of those around Truman were working for the satanic system. They were working for the Matrix. Tricks are for kids, silly stalkers, as I say. I'm not in the best mood, y'all, so probably not going to be cracking some jokes today because this is very serious. Since something happened a few months ago, which included horrendous slander against me and just horrible a lot of witchcraft attacks and things like that, which ultimately is the enemy working through these people. I've had to forgive these people that have done this against me. It's one in particular, and then, there's witchcraft covens assigned to a lot of us, Satanists and, all that. But ultimately, it's not them we're battling, okay? It's the demons, and some have fallen angels inside of them, and I've seen them manifesting in a lot of these. That's why a lot of them rage out and do a lot of bizarre things. That's because these demons are manifesting just like they did when Jesus was around. They don't want us around. Darkness hates the light and flees from it. But because of this horrible attack that happened a few months ago, and really broke my heart again, because I thought this was a believer. I thought I had a connection with this person. Even though they meant all these slanderous videos and accusations for my harm, the Most High God has turned it for my good. So I thank these persecutors, because y'all think about this. If it was not for our persecutors, aka gang stalkers, community-based sellouts, we would not be where we are with the Lord. We would not be walking this walk with strength and power and knowing who we are in the Most High God. We would still be living in fear. And for me, I could possibly be back out there in the world sinning. And that's really frightening to me, because I don't want to grieve the Holy Spirit. So the whole point of this is, over the past few months, I've really been doing some soul searching. I've been repenting for things I did wrong, because I didn't do right either. I did some wrong things, okay? And repenting, and then looking back into a long, long time ago when I was a child, and some people, especially family, mainly family, really, really hurt me, and that I was carrying that with me. A lot of us may have been satanic ritual abused, and we have blocked out the tremendous pain. Like, I don't remember anything from before I'm about 7 or 8 years old. That's not normal. I remember everything, unless they put something in my drink, and the Lord will allow those things to affect us in a way if we're sinning, if we're not living righteously by obeying Him. Father keeps saying, obedience is better than sacrifice. But for the most part, if we're obeying the Lord and we're trying to stay on the straight and narrow, He is protecting us, okay? But getting back to this, I blocked some traumatic memories, and I believe that was God's mercy, not allowing me to remember these things. However, He's having me think back of things that people had hurt me that I had blocked and hadn't forgiven them or myself for. And this is really hard. So this causes our emotions to well up, and then release it with crying. Just cry to the Lord and repent. And so that's what's been going on. And in the midst of this, Father has been revealing about the Trueman show. Okay? So some of this is going to be about me, but it's about anyone that is being persecuted. I don't think if I do continue on YouTube, which I don't know if I am, I'm highly blocked. Very few real targeted individuals, very few real believers in Jesus Christ that are really walking the walk are allowed to see these videos, and the torment and the punishment that comes from uploading a video. After I make a video, they pull out all the stops. I'm already being just harassed nonstop, but it ramps up, okay? And then the fact that I'm being slandered and death threats and all kinds of evil wishes online, like I said, very few people get through, and a lot of the people that get through make comments that are irrelevant or that are very negative, which upsets me even more. Even comments that aren't about me, but that are about negative things going on. And I started thinking, I'm feeding the satanic system by talking about all these negative things that are going on. I'm feeding it. That's what it wants. The satanic system, the matrix, wants our focus to be on all these horrible things instead on the good things that the Most High created. And Father reminded me of this just happened a few months ago. I've only been in this place going on 4 months, which is the longest I've been able to stay anywhere in years and years. Normally they run me from place to place, and of course they've tried to run me out of here, but until Father says go and shows me where, then I remain standing in the midst of all the torture. But long story short, Father has shown me when I'm focusing on above, my energy is higher and I'm shining light from within. Just like all of us have a light that we light up a room when we walk in. That's why all eyes are on us. This is for the few, the targeted, persecuted individuals. Angels on the front lines for Jesus Christ is what I call us. But when I focus on them, on the stalkers and all the noise and all these kinds of clown shows, my energy is drained and they feed off of it. That's what they want. So I don't even know if Father wants me on here anymore. He had told me about 3 or 4 months ago, when I say Father, I mean the Most High God. He had told me about 3 or 4 months ago that my time was about up on YouTube, and now that everything is being blocked, I mean, way more than it ever has. I've had 6, that's right, not 5, not 7, the lovely number 6 videos removed in the last 3 weeks. They just yank them. And then I've had 2 strikes in the last 2 months where I actually couldn't upload. The other videos were just taken down, and some of these were from 2 and 3 years ago. So this channel is being hit for speaking truth and trying to, give people positive things, elevate people. While the enemy's camp, pretending they're masquerading to be believers in Jesus, to be targeted, they are spreading all kinds of hate and lies and trying to turn race against race and poor and rich against each other, and even your nationality, your age, just horrible, hateful things, and they're spreading hate and they're being promoted. And Father has showed me that there's only a few that are actually still on YouTube that are speaking truth. And this channel, like I said, is being hit. So because it is such a source of stress, and I appreciate there is a remnant. I'm very aware of the remnant on this channel that I do it for, that I make these videos for, that need encouragement. That's the word I was using, not elevating, encouraging. Some of y'all are being hit in your bodies with a lot of pain and stuff, which they do the same to me. I just don't glorify it by talking about it because it's not the main thing they do to me. A lot of y'all know some of the main attacks, but my prayers go out to all y'all that is your main attack. I don't feel that I should even bring that up for me because y'all go through, some of y'all, a few of y'all on here that have asked for prayer, a brother in particular, I'm thinking about you. Y'all are really being severely attacked in your health. It's not as bad for me because they do multiple other things, so I don't glorify them is what I meant. Glorify them by talking about it. But I get that y'all need to talk about it because that's your main motive that they attack you with, okay? So I'm not dogging anybody for coming on and saying I need prayers. I want y'all to ask for prayer and things like that. But just going into all these things that are happening around the world and all that, I'm feeding the satanic system by focusing on it. So I am going to disclose this horrible dream I had. I tried to make a video. I made actually 3 videos the other day. The day that I woke up from this horrible dream, and every one of them shows record. The first one was an hour and a half long, and then it stopped in the middle. I was still going. It probably would have been 2 hours because I was so filled with joy of the Holy Spirit, all the things that he'd shown me and a lot of signs. And when I went to look at it, it had stopped recording and the whole thing was gone off the off the laptop. So I was frustrated. I didn't do that again that day. The next day I did it again. Oops, I did it again. This time I made it shorter. It actually did finish recording. It was like 50 minutes. And, I hit stop. So there it is. And then when I go to upload it, that disappeared. And then it happened a third time the same day when I only did a test of about 10 minutes. Recorded it. It was in my feed, where you hit to upload it to YouTube, and that disappeared. Can't find it anywhere on my laptop. So again, more source of stress. And then after I make videos, they ramp up all the harassment, neighborhood harassment, y'all. And the fact that this gets through to very few, I'm just being led that, my time is up here. And if Father continues to tell me to get on here, I will. But I do feel that this is something I wanted to talk about and see what y'all think about what Father showed me with the Trueman show, okay? So, I'm probably going to come back on with this horrible dream and what I think it means, and I'll just give you a heads up. It was about soul suckers hunting souls, okay? It was a very bizarre dream. I thought it was an attack from the enemy, but Father allowed it to show me what is actually going on, okay? So, I believe that we that are truly being persecuted, that truly have the Holy Spirit, that won't harm others, that won't participate in gang stalking, all the evil things that the enemy's camp does, that have been made aware of basically how wicked the world is. We walked around, or I did, with rose-colored glasses on. I was told my whole life, you're so naive. You believed me, and people would just lie on purpose and then laugh at me because I believed them. But I thought people were good. And when the light came on, and I call it my Shazam or Bam moment back in 2012, although I knew something was very, very wrong years before, but when I was shown the truth in 2012, blessed are we with eyes to see and ears to hear. For many prophets came before wanting to see what we could see and they could not. We are blessed to be able to see these things and to be called in this final hour. But it also comes with a high price. It's a heavy burden. I seriously feel like I have weights on my shoulder and my neck. I walk around like that, like heavy weights. And just looking at all the people that are under a strong delusion, it breaks my heart. The people that are being just traumatized and they don't even know it. The homeless out there that nobody cares about. These are human beings. These are souls that you walk by and you look at. Get a job. How do you expect them to do that when they don't have a place to sleep? If you don't get sleep, you can't function. They don't have showers, a lot of them. They might get a shower, once in a while. Sometimes they're just trying to function enough to get a meal. And then some people condemn the homeless. Well, if I give them money, they're just going to buy drugs or alcohol. So what? So what? What's your point? Would you not do that once in a while? Or maybe every day if you had given up and you were in severe pain like they are and everyone turned on you and there was no one to help you. We targeted individuals deal with this. Yes, I have a roof over my head right now, but I don't know for how long. And I've been many times where I've slept outside. I've slept in banana trees. In the banana trees, yeah, I'm a banana. Go ahead, call me crazy. Because when people call us crazy, it means they don't understand us. People call people crazy because they don't deal with that. They can't relate. It's dismissive, as Dave Chappelle said, who also, by the way, was targeted. And what did they say? Dave Chappelle's gone crazy. Britney Spears has gone crazy. They're trying to break free of this satanic system. So they label everyone drug addicts, alcoholics, crazy, falsely accuse them, falsely imprison them, falsely set them up. This is the system we live in. And those that have chosen to go against the satanic, wicked, evil system are targeted. So I'm trying to tell y'all that we're the true women and true men in the Truman Show. Okay? And I'm going to share with y'all a few things that really have happened to me. So I rented, it was called an efficiency apartment, but it was just one room with a bed and a little like mini kitchen and a bathroom when you walk in. It was cute. I loved it. I'm not complaining. But that was in New Orleans years ago, okay? And Father just reminded me of this. I lived on Laurel Street. It wasn't for very long, just a few months, which is usually all I ever am somewhere. Like I said, this is very rare that I'm ever able to stay anywhere very long. Usually I'm in dumpy motels. Sometimes I might get a okay motel, you know? But never really extravagant, but it's a roof over my head. But they really torture me in the hotels, so I'm just grateful. Even though they do the same here, I'm grateful I have a roof. But I never know. I go week to week. Every once in a while, I pay for a whole month, if Father tells me. But getting back to this, I lived on Laurel Street. Father reminded me of laurel, a crown of laurel. We get our crowns. Every street name you live on, if you are a targeted, persecuted individual, if you really are one of the Most High God's children, if you're walking the straight and narrow, your street names even mean something, okay? From the time you were a child. My street name growing up meant humorous, which is what people have said my whole life. That's one of the gifts Father gave me that Satan tries to steal. And when I disobey the Lord, I willfully sin, even though I'm not really willfully, I'm battling it, but I'm not completely submitting to the Lord, and I go back into the world out of loneliness or boredom or whatever it might be, or just constant stress and no sleep. No soup for you. Satan will take that away. That will be gone. I won't have my humor, and I'm like, Lord, I just want to laugh again. Obey me. Obey me. We each have gifts. People hate themselves because they're not being themselves. Everyone is created unique. Father made us each unique. They want everyone looking alike, acting alike, doing the same thing, bowing down and serving the system as a slave. We that broke free of that, like the Neos, the one. Neo, if you rearrange the words, which was Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, also means one, okay? He was the one. And when you rearrange the name Neo, it spells one. Yesterday was the 11:11 portal. I had so many signs about it. I thought I was going to be just filled with energy and all this stuff, but it was the opposite. I had a severe headache. I went to bed with it, which was right before the portal, 11:11 started. It was right before midnight. And I woke up with it, and then throughout the day, I just cried and all that. And Father said, each person has different things that they're doing, that they're soul searching. And this is part of you releasing all this negative. This is helping. This is actually a positive. When we cry and we release things like that, not in violence or anything like that, but just releasing built up emotions and things that you haven't forgiven others or yourself for, that is lifting us back up. But on the 10th, I went and I had bought something. I can't show y'all the date, but I mean, why would I make this up? It was on the 10th, so one day before the 11th, I went and bought something, or a few things, and the total, you can barely see it, but there it is. 101. It was 101. Okay, and some change. I don't know what the change was. And then I told y'all, or I may have told y'all in the videos that disappeared, but a few days before that, I think it was on the 9th, or it might have been the day before. Yeah, I think it was the day before. So the 10th, I had 101 on a few items I bought. And then the day before that, I had groceries. And I normally will buy $50 in groceries. I try to keep it at that. That's usually my limit. But I went over, and the exact amount that I paid was $101 and no cents. No sense! Lena, we knew you had no sense. No, I'm joking. See, I'm trying to lift myself back up, but it's like this is something serious that's been weighing on my heart. So it was $101.00, and the cashier even goes, wow, that never happens. And a few days before that, or maybe a week before that, the groceries were $47.00, and Father had shown me gateways 7 and 4 opening, and then it was 11:11. Okay, so now getting back to, because these are all signs, and then I've been waking up on the hour, 2 a.m., not 2:01, not 1:59, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for the last week or two. And Father said, I'm like, what is this about? And it's like, we are going into the 5th dimension. You who have purified yourself and you've been made worthy by the refiner's fire known as being targeted, being gang stalked. We're being made pure. We're being refined. It's called the refiner's fire in the Bible, okay? Which means you're persecuted, you're targeted. All right? So we're being in sync more with the 5th dimension, just like I had talked about how there's all these Mandela effects, they call them. And in my own Bible, which I'm going to talk about in the other video I'm going to make, so this is more about the Trueman Show, about this dream I had that goes with the Mandela effect. And I had just spoken about, I know for a fact that my Bible said, you do not pour new wine into old wineskins, for the wineskins will break. Now, my Bible, the same Bible that once said that, now says you don't pour new wine into old wine bottles, for the wine bottles will break. And if you think about it, that doesn't even make any sense. If you poured wine into an old bottle, it's not going to make the bottle break. But these are things that are going into the next dimension, and I believe we're like fluctuating back and forth until Father calls us up, which is what? The rapture, known as the rapture, our ascension. We're noticing some on a lower level and some on a higher level where we're being lifted out. So this is amazing, y'all. So getting back to that. So Father reminded me of this place that I had rented several years ago in New Orleans, and it was on Laurel Street. And I said, I love your house. It was in her house, but it was a back, you walk around the back of the yard and then you enter that way, and she had separated it made it a little efficiency. So it's technically this house, the whole house, was in this movie, and I can't remember the name of the movie. Why don't you just tell me the name of the movie? But I'm pretty sure it was Steel Magnolias. I'll have to look it up because I'm just coming on talking about the Trueman Show, and I don't want to forget what Father is downloading this morning on what's going on, okay? So I will try to look that up. I'm pretty sure that was it. And she said the house was in Steel Magnolias. And when I looked on, what do you call it? When you rent rooms, which I've done for years and years because no one will rent to me, or you have an Airbnb or whatever that may be, just like in a hotel, you use their internet, I don't know what it's called, server or something? I'm not a techie. When, like, say you're at a coffee shop and the name of the coffee shop is, why don't you just tell me the name of the coffee shop? Kramer's Coffee. And so you look up Kramer's Coffee and then you click it on, whatever that is. Her Wi-Fi was called something Productions, like a movie production thing. And that's how we started talking about it. And I said, are you an actress or something? And it was an older lady. She was like 20 years older than me. And not that she couldn't be an actress too. They use older people in some of the movies, but it's not as predominant, which I also feel sad about, how this world shames those that are older. When in ancient days, you respected your elders. Like in Native American history, that's one example, but it was in all heritages, all nationalities. You respected your elders. They had been through so much more than you, and you wanted to learn from them, not mock them and make them feel poopy, because everyone starts to change as you get older, gravity, right? And instead of saying, wow, you haven't participated in, injecting all these toxins and poisons, making you look basically like plastic, because you are becoming Barbie plastic, right? You embraced aging, and they mock us, and they make fun. Oh, she's old. No. You're supposed to say, what have you learned? Let me listen to, and wow, she went through that. But they belittle, they shame everybody. They shame people's bodies. It's all about everyone is supposed to look a certain way. No, that's why people hate themselves, because they ain't themselves. You heard me? Be yourself, you on the other side of the screen, hating targeted individuals, because we do embrace our true selves. We embrace who the Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth, made us. So they hate us because they ain't us. But you're not supposed to be like each other. You're supposed to be yourself. We are true women and true men stuck in the clown show, the Truman Show. So again, this lady told me, oh no, I'm not an actress. I just put that on there because my house was in whatever the movie was. Why don't you just tell me the name of the movie? Get out of here, Kramer. I've already said that 5 times. Anyway, I found that kind of strange. And then Father led me to, this was a new area. I've lived all over New Orleans, and this was an area I hadn't lived in. Again, this was years ago, maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I didn't know that area yet. And so Father had me just walk around, and then he led me right to where there was a movie production place. And it was maybe 7 or 8 blocks. So in the same neighborhood as where this house was. And I took note of that. Okay. There was several other places that were in, in Texas and in New Orleans, where I lived, that had similar stories. And then there's something that's happened recently in the city that I'm at, but I can't disclose it until I leave here, because it gives information on, where I was. But that is a movie production person, okay? But this is by far the weirdest. Okay, so I've also lived in Key West, and they film movies there. They film movies in New Orleans, and then in Houston, Texas, when I was really young, I lived in a house. It was, again, a rented apartment, and the house was split into 6 units, I think. It was like a duplex thing. And that particular house, not even a great, it was just an average house. But they happened to pick that house as a backdrop in the movie Reality Bites with Winona Ryder. I'm not kidding you. Reality Bites. This is not a real reality. This is a false reality. These different places I've lived, it's like they all go with what I'm being shown, that we are the real souls that didn't sell out to Satan, that are stuck in a movie set, Truman Show, and everyone else is part of it. So here's by far the most bizarre of all of them, okay? Father reminded me this of maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and now he's putting it together. So after Hurricane Katrina, okay, in which I lived in New Orleans, Father, the Most High God, told me about it. He told me to get out of New Orleans 10 days before it was ever a hurricane, okay? It was just a tropical storm. I warned people, only 2 people, and back then I still had a few friends. 2 people believe me. They were my only 2 friends that really believed in Jesus Christ. Lynn Venus, who has gone on to be with Yeshua, Jesus. They shot her in the head. She was my true friend. And another guy, okay? And I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, no one else believed me. They all laughed. And a few of them got stuck. Nobody died or anything that I knew. But lots and lots of people did die. But I was guided out, the whole point. I did lose everything. I've lost everything over and over and over again, either by theft or by, I've been through 3 floods, or by me actually just leaving things or giving them to people. Because it's meaningless. We don't take it with us. We don't need any of this stuff that people try to one-up the Joneses every day. Oh, they got this. I got to get this. I got to have this and this. Oh, a new cell phone coming out. I got to get it. It's better than the other one. It's all a joke. To get your eyes off of what is truly important. Working on yourself and being your true self and shining your light and doing your mission for the Most High God. Bringing other people out of this darkness, this dark realm that we're in right now. Okay, but getting back to Hurricane Katrina. And so I left there. I ended up going to Texas because that's where I was from, right? And then from there, they were having a back-to-back hurricane. And yes, the Lord warned me, but I went there for a week and then was let out before that hurricane came back-to-back. That was Rita. So we had Katrina and Rita. And Katrina meant purging and Rita meant cleansing. Or it was vice versa. I can't remember now. It was either Katrina meant purging or cleansing, and whichever one it didn't mean, then that's what Rita meant. Okay? So it was a cleansing and a purging and trying to get people to wake up. And then I was led all the way around, going all the way around from Texas back through. We couldn't get into New Orleans. We were not allowed in to see the damage or get anything out for 3 months. And Father had not warned me about that. All I was told was to pack up for a week and leave because it was going to be flooded. But I was not told the whole entire thing, which was New Orleans would be filled up like a bowl, and you couldn't get back in. That's not a normal thing. That doesn't happen. But because New Orleans is under sea level, the Army Corps of ENG, you know, the rest. I can't even say it now because I'm so monitored. This just makes me not want to talk on here. But they blew the levees. Yes, they blew them. I'm not even going to go into that. I have a couple people that were there, boots on the ground, that heard them blow. Okay. It missed us by 15 miles. This is what our governing of the mental, as I call them, because I can't speak freely on here now about certain things. They did this. Push, and the George Bush flew over New Orleans, ha, 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 laughing as people were begging for water and dying, being all herded in like cattle. Well, the governing of the mental tells us we go in here and we'll be safe, and they died, okay? You don't believe what they say, what the enemy says. That they work for Satan, okay? He's the God of this world. You need to believe what the Most High God says. You need to seek him. We all who believe, once you accept Jesus Christ into your heart, you believe he died on the cross for yours and my sins. On the 3rd day he rose and he's coming back in the clouds. Okay, once you truly believe that and you start walking the walk, you have a direct connection to the Most High God. You need to pray for the Holy Spirit, okay? And I believe what Father showed me recently is he pours it into us in increments, the Holy Spirit. You don't get completely filled overnight. This is, again, my belief, okay? That once you empty out everything of you that is of the ego, okay, all lower level fleshly things, Father can fill you completely with him. And so we have a direct line to him. So you hear from him. That's how we were warned not to take the in the arm, okay? That's all I can say about that. I can't even sing the song anymore by Bon Jovi. Na, 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 and you're to blame, darling, you give love. They removed my video for singing that song, saying I was giving out med information. While all these fake phonies can come on and say whatever they want. It's just a joke. But getting back to this. So I left New Orleans, went to Houston, went to Galveston, went back through, came around the back, and then because I-10 was shut down, I went down I-12, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, Lord. He said, you're going to Florida. Back then, I still drove, so at least I still had that, and just went to Florida. I had no money. I'd lost my job. Back then, I still had work. That was when I became blacklisted, is when I woke up completely. But I didn't know what I was doing, couldn't get back in. We were told it would be months before you can get back in. And like I said, I just had a week's worth of clothes with me. Didn't have any savings, but I had my vehicle, so I was blessed with that, and I was able to sleep in my vehicle. Then, after I got into Florida, I went through, what is it called? Past Pensacola, out by Destin, Fort Walton Beach. Thank you, Father, because it was cheaper there. And I had had enough money for a hotel there, stay there for 2 days, and then I'm like, now what do I do? And Father said, keep going. So I keep going, and I drive, and I go down. Never been down here before, y'all. Never been down there. I've been to Pensacola, and I've been to Destin on vacations, but never been to this little city, which is past Destin. And it's a little bitty road, and Father said, turn down here, and I did. And this was me being shown, this is how you hear from the Lord. And again, this was back in 2005. And so I drive down this road, and then I'm like, I'm running out of clothes, and I don't have clothes as it gets colder. Because when Katrina hit, it was August. So when I packed up, I packed up for a week, and I'm like, I'm running out of clothes, and I don't have any, cooler clothes, jackets or anything. And Father said, go down this road, and I went down this little bitty road, 1-lane road, and bam, there was a place that was like a clothes closet thing. And so I said, what is this place? And they had some cool artwork. It's like a little beachy community that I was driving into, but this little place was by itself. It sat off on a little road. This is how the Lord works, okay? If you're really seeking him and you're listening to his voice and his guidance, you have to know his voice, y'all. And the lady said, oh, we're giving out clothes, to those that are homeless or, and I said, well, I am homeless. And I said, but I have my car. And I told her that I'd come from New Orleans. She said, you can have whatever you want. I only got a few items that I really needed. And because I felt blessed that I still had a vehicle and I was able to sleep in the vehicle. From that, there was a bulletin board, and it said a church group and the church meeting group. And it was a little bitty church. And I said, oh, and it happened to be on that very day. So it was Sunday morning, okay? And this church group was meeting, and I said, oh, but it was in the evening time. And I said, oh, that would be cool to go to. Just get me out of the car and everything and go in and then fellowship. And back then I still went to church. This was before Father told me to get out of the church, that he was not in the churches anymore, that the 501c3 had taken over and they were working for the beast, okay? So back then there was still some, and this was a mom and pop church. And so I go in there, and there's maybe like 70, 80 people's all. And I sat in the back, and they said, now we're going to pray for all those that went through Hurricane Katrina in Mississippi and in New Orleans and Louisiana. And looks like we have a new person here tonight, which was me, because it's a little church, so they all knew each other, right? If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. So I stood up, and I said, I said my name, and then I said where I was from and that I had just happened upon this church. And they said, New Orleans, we're just going to pray for New Orleans. And so they all put me in their prayers. They put New Orleans in their prayer. But this was an amazing thing that the Lord did for me. I wasn't sad, y'all, because I knew the Lord and I knew he was guiding me. But I was just sad for the people that had died. And I was just lonely. I wanted someone to talk to. And Father said, I'm here. I'm here with you, daughter. You're doing good. And then I was like, okay, now I got to find like a little area. There's no Walmarts out there to park in the Walmart parking lot and boondock legally, right? Which I find funny that Walmart's the one that does that. It's so they can take note of who is actually a free spirit parking there, right? Or just do some sort of monitoring. But the Lord said he was with me. It was a really hard time for me, y'all, but I had the joy of the Lord. I can't explain it, but it was like I had this freshness, this wanting to know him closer. And this couple came up to me. It was an older couple, and they said, we'd like to offer you our condo. And I said, what? And they said, we have a condo that we don't use during the winter. We rent it out, but during the beginning of the winter, it hasn't been rented yet. And it was from Hurricane Katrina happened August 29th, so this would have been around September that this happened. And she said, September, October, and November is yours. And you don't have to pay any rent. You don't have to pay any bills. All you have to do is pay for your food. And I said, are you serious? I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. And they gave me the keys. They took me over there, obviously, and then they gave me the keys for 3 months of this condo. I hadn't been in a place like this. It was a beautiful condo overlooking the beach. But here's where it ties in with the Truman Show. So that was the mercy of the Most High God. And then it was funny because I just noticed this. I was given 3 months there. And that's how long it took for us to be allowed to go back in and assess the damage and all that stuff in New Orleans. 3 months. This is it is how Father works. And, but this was the most amazing part. So I enjoyed a view out there, and it was kind of lonely, I will say that, because I was, by myself, and there wasn't really a lot to do there. And most of the people, it was mostly older married people, or a lot of the places were just rented out to tourists that would be there a couple days and then leave, stuff like that. So I was kind of lonely, and I was missing New Orleans, and I was missing, believe it or not, I was missing my job, because I had a job that I liked back then. I only made $10 an hour, but I made people happy, making floral arrangements, but they blacklisted me from that soon after, okay? The whole point of this is it's tied in with the Truman Show. I totally forgot about this. And a few months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, I was looking for a picture of Jim Carrey after I had a dream that he was a giant snapping turtle, okay? I know it's funny, but I made a video about it. What's a snapping turtle? Like a reptilian, like the seed of the serpent race is basically what I was being shown. I'm like, what a weird dream. As I'm trying to look up, something about his movies, the Truman Show popped up, and Father said, look up where it was filmed. Y'all, the Truman Show, I don't know if the whole thing was filmed there, but a lot of it was filmed in that tiny little city where this happened to me, where I lived for 3 months. It's called Seaside, Florida, y'all. What is the likelihood of this? And it's a tiny, tiny community that most people have never heard of. The bigger community near it is called Santa Rosa Beach, and most people haven't even heard of that. And that is the little bitty 1-lane road that I was guided to after Hurricane Katrina. I do not find this a coincidence. So I've lived in multiple places where the name of the Wi-Fi router had something to do with either a movie production set or a film crew. And I've lived in multiple cities where the main thing they film movies, just like New Orleans. I lived on the same street that Interview with a Vampire was filmed. I've met a lot of these actors, including John Goodman, Brad Pitt, ZZ Top. I partied with ZZ Top on their boat when I was I was like, 21, 22, and they had a boat docked next to my friend's dad's boat. And the name of ZZ Top's boat was Sea Dragon. Do y'all start to see this? Hold on a minute, y'all. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, it's a black SUV. So I'm going to prove my case. In the Truman Show, he keeps seeing the same vehicles driving around in circles. Is that not what we see, TIs? So I just heard doors slam over and over and over again to get my attention because they'll continue to slam car doors over and over. But I was like curious. I wonder if it's the same vehicles that I always see. It's always the first vehicle, no matter where I live, no matter what city or state, no matter which window I go to, no matter if I open a door to go for a walk, whatever I do first thing when I look out, it's always a black SUV. Always. I'm not saying 9 out of 10 times. This is what just pulled up and parked directly under where I am filming. There's the black vehicle. Every vehicle, there's the white and the red. She's in a red shirt. That's not technically red, it's burgundy vehicle, but close enough. All the vehicles that are ever around where I stay are red, black, and white. 9 out of 10 are black SUVs or men in black cars. All my neighbors, all my landlords, for years, I'm not talking just a year, I'm talking since I woke up, I've noticed this. So since 2012, and now we've got witches that come out, and I shouldn't even judge them as witches, but Father showed me that they're actually stand under my window and do witchcraft. So I'm not judging on their looks or anything like that. But they come out, as soon as I go to a window, there's always someone standing under my window, yelling or screaming. So here she is right here. And she's one of the main instigators, and she will sit under my window at 1, 2 in the morning and do this kind of stuff. It's just a lot of things. But you know what? I'm not mad at her anymore. This is what's amazing. And I'm not calling her a witch as in you witch, you evil, whatever, because it's irrelevant if she's doing this stuff or not, because it can't hurt us if we have the Holy Spirit unless we take it upon ourselves and believe that these witches have power. And Father is showing me all the years I've talked about witchcraft. They have power because we accept that they do. We who are truly targeted, we who are isolated, made homeless, stalked and lied about and falsely accused and set up for crimes we didn't do, and all these things. A lot of us have had our pets, including me, our pets killed. Or some of y'all even had your children killed. You know, our family and friends have all turned against us. It's because we are the true souls. We still have the light of our Father in us. They can't touch us. And so this is amazing. So had it have just been a few weeks ago, I would have been mad that she was doing that. And it's, who cares that people are standing under the window slamming car doors? That's what Father's showing me. Who cares that they're laughing and pointing at us? Who cares that they're slandering us? Who cares that they're spreading false claims? Because you know what? If someone chooses to believe these lies about us, these hateful things about us, we don't want them around us anyway. So they've done us a favor. So I thank you, my persecutors. I thank you, witches. I thank you, Satanists. I thank you, Freemasons and Eastern Stars. I thank you, gang stalkers. I thank all of you. I thank all of you online and all of you in this fake world for doing this, because it's made me stronger. It's made me draw closer to the Most High God. But the whole point is, every time I look out, it's the same scenario. And like I said, this is the longest I've lived anywhere in years. I lived somewhere in New Orleans for 3 months, and I moved out on January 1st of 2020, right before the scamdemic, to go and see my dad who was dying, okay? That is the last time I've had anywhere more than probably the longest would be a month. Sometimes I'll move 2 and 3 times in a week. Sometimes it'll be, once a week, sometimes once a month. But you get it. And this has been for years and years and years. And so I see the same scene every day. The same scene playing out every day. And we're in the True Woman show. And so that's what Father was showing me that I wanted to share with y'all, is that there is no way. Who has 3 landlords and 1 Airbnb owner that you've rented from that are cops, and that your harassers have been cops your whole life? I started thinking about it. It's like they've been some of my worst persecutors. They falsely set me up twice. And then a couple other times, I had done the thing that they said over the years, to where I can't drive, which makes it harder to function and to get around, especially if you're being persecuted, because when they send rides, they're setups, okay? They're infiltrators, or they just, for me, because they know I can pick up on their spirit now, and they know I'm not scared, so they've stopped doing that. What they normally do is just not show up. It'll be an Uber. Buses drive past me, including Megabus, okay? These things really happen. It's because we're being obedient to the Lord by being our true selves, okay? It grieves the Most High God when you are not your true self, y'all, that are hiding behind a mask. And this is what Father showed me, is they were doing a lot of stuff last night, okay? And I wanted to go to bed early because I had a headache, like I said. And I was like, man, I just want to get some sleep, and all this noise is going on and all this. And I was tempted to get up out of the bed and go look and see what are they doing now, because they fluctuate to there's 3 rooms in here, okay? A front room, a middle room that I'm in, and a back room. And whichever room I'm in, they will show up. It's so creepy, y'all. If I go to the bathroom, okay? So technically it's actually 5 rooms because there's a little kitchen and a bathroom, but I'm talking about the 3 rooms that I sit in, okay? And whichever room I'm in is where they will swarm outside, and I'll be quiet. I won't be talking, okay? And they'll know exactly where I'm at. If I go to the bathroom, as soon as I walk into the bathroom door, someone will start hammering or slamming something from the makeshift fake mechanic shop that sprung up in the back, directly next to the fence here where they've been super loud. Like this morning, I go to the kitchen to make the coffee. I didn't even turn the light on yet. This is at 5:45 in the morning. There's totally quiet. When I first woke up, hadn't looked outside yet, so I didn't see the black SUV. And here, that's why they make witches on TV, movies and things. They make them cackle because they don't really have joy. They have to force fake laughs. But I go to the kitchen, hadn't even turned the light on yet. As soon as I did, honk, honk, honk. And this is every day, wherever I go, in every city, in every state, since 2012, when I first started noticing it, that this is more than just bad luck, okay? How can this be? I believe that these are fallen angels and demons that have taken over these people that sold out to the system. Now they are all the hive mind, which is all connected through the mind of Lucifer, right? So they work for the beast, which is 99% of the people on this earth. So we are the true lights of the Most High God. So we are living in this Truman show. And now let me tell you a couple more things about the Truman show. So Truman was adopted. Well, guess what? I was adopted. Okay? So everybody is looking at Truman because why? He's nice. They're amazed how nice he is, even though all the things they do to him. They're laughing behind his back. But in the end, who has the last laugh? Truman. He gets free. He breaks free of the matrix, y'all. So not only was I adopted, and I know some of y'all too. Some of y'all also were too. But in the show, The Truman Show, the guy that plays, technically he's the creator. I think they called him the architect. I can't remember his name, but the actor that played him, he was saying, make the waves get worse and worse. Well, it'll kill him. Make them get worse, because they didn't want him to escape, because then others may follow behind him. Well, Truman got out. What did he do? And then they're going to start seeking the light, right? He played John Glenn, which was astronaut in NASA. And my adoptive dad was high-level NASA, not my bloodline, y'all. I loved him, though. I pray somehow that he's in a good place. And I'm believing that he is. I'm believing he gave his life to Jesus a few weeks before he passed, because I gave him a Bible, a special Bible that it took me a while to pick out this one that I thought he would like, and he never opened it for 3 years that I gave it to him. And a few weeks before he passed, I kept saying it every time I talked to him, which was about every couple of days when he got really sick. Did you open your Bible yet? Have you read your Bible? Are you reading your Bible? No. He was honest. He told me no. 2 weeks before my dad passed, he told me, yes, I have it right here by the bed. He died alone, y'all, because the scamdemic with the lockdown. And so where he was staying, the other family member that wouldn't even allow me to come there, but that's another story, wouldn't even allow me to come there. I got to see my dad, though, a few months before he passed, but that was at a rental place. But I wasn't allowed, nor invited, nor wanted to come to their place, to their house where he was. But they said they weren't. I said, well, how's he doing every day? How's he doing if he didn't answer the phone? And this family member would say, I haven't been in his room because of the thing, and they're saying that we don't need to be around him because it might make him worse. Huh? And then I was told I was homeless in Texas and had no way back, and all the buses and everything were shut down, and I asked if I could stay with this last family member, and they said no, because we don't know where you've been. Like I'm this nasty, disgusting person. Like they think of homeless people as nasty. Why do you think that? These are human beings. Most of them are kind hearts that have been given the poopy end of the stick, that didn't sell out, and they won't harm others. So they harm themselves just to forget about all the pain by drinking or doing drugs or whatever it is. They've just kind of given up because of all the trauma and hate thrown at them. Go out and help one of them. Listen to their story. A lot of them are some of the most kindest people. But that's what my family member said to me, was that. And my dad passed by himself, and I pray he knew that I loved him. But the whole point is, even that's kind of, it just shows the love of the Most High God, because he did open his Bible a few weeks before, so I feel that comforted him, that he had it by his bed. On his bed is what he told me. But that this family member that said I couldn't come, and they knew I was homeless, and they knew I didn't know what I was going to do because I couldn't get anywhere, no buses, right? They end up getting the you-know-what, or whatever the makeshift fake thing was. You know, the My Sharona charade, they get it, and I'm perfectly fine. And homeless, and Father kept me well. So that just shows how Father works. But getting back to the Truman Show, the guy, what do you call it? The architect is played by the same guy that played John Glenn, which is an astronaut, get it? Going home, going up, NASA, trying to keep people in the dark. He also played in some movie, it was a sci-fi movie, where he swims down into the deep water and he sees these sparkly lights that look like angels. I can't remember it. But that's what I've been shown. We swim through the firmament. We go through the firmament, which they call the sky, which is actually water. All right. Truman goes to the beach, and it only rains where he's at. And have y'all noticed over the years, I have, that these kind of things will follow me? And it's like Satan's, whatever kind of wicked powers he has, he does this to us to try to shut our light. But he's at a beach. A beach is symbolic for, you've got the water, you've got the earth, the air, right? And then he escapes on a sailboat. And this was amazing because I started this channel, and a few months after I started it, I finally got away from my gang stalker boyfriend. That's the last person I've dated, and this was over 7 years ago. I finally was able to get away from him, and I bought the little sailboat, little rinky-dink sailboat, and it came with the name Amazing Grace, all right? On that boat, I had a lot of special things happen, but the whole point is that's when I really started this channel. Father really was showing me things. That's when I had the dream of Jesus. He drove up in a pickup truck, and he got out, and he had a toolbox, and he handed me the toolbox, and he said, from now on, you'll be working for me. And Father woke me up from that dream and told me, you're a regulator. You're my foreman. Regulators mount up, and that was to be our name for you, the few that have remained faithful to the Most High God. We're not perfect, but we don't deny him. We don't deny our Creator, and we don't deny him by trying to be people that we're not and being fake, okay? And so that's why I'm kind of disgusted with you, Boob, and haven't really been watching it, because it's mostly all these fear-based things, and this is going on, and that's going on, and yes, all these things are happening. But we're supposed to focus on above and not below. And Father showed me the other day, I'll share with y'all this. I'm making this kind of long, I'm sorry, but I never know when I'm going to get back on again. So Trueman escapes to a sailboat. What is a sailboat? It's a ship. In the Bible, it says, and Jesus departed in a ship unto the other side. We're going to the other side. We're getting free of the matrix, and it's funny. I'm sitting in this room. I usually sit in the other room, but they've gathered around there, so I moved to this room. And this is the only really pretty painting in here. Again, this is a rented place. I didn't decorate this. It came like this. And look, it's blue, like Blue Star, Blue Planet, Blue Kachina. And this, to me, I'm thinking of like our wings, our white wings. Okay, and then the other room, one room doesn't have any pictures. And then that room just has that one. And then this room has 3 pictures, and look what they all are. See what I mean? It's every time I walk into a room, they honk. I'm just grateful I finally got it on video, if y'all heard it. So this, hopefully it's still going. This is one picture. None of this is a coincidence, y'all. I'm sorry, it's like the light. See? Now imagine having that all day everywhere you go. But if y'all can see, it's a ship, okay? It's a ship, and it's an old, I'm not in Louisiana, I'm not in New Orleans, but it looks like an old building that would be by the sea in New Orleans. Kind of it by here, too. But it's a ship. Again, I'm having to use a laptop because my phone is hacked. Then over here, I think this one is beautiful. I'll save that for last. Then over here, some of y'all seen this because I talk in this room a lot, is another sailboat. It's a sailboat like the Truman Show. And I know it's a porthole. Now the boat I had was really old. This is a new, pretty expensive looking sailboat. And they make them like this now, but used to they made them in a circle, and I'm going to finish with that story. But what does that look like? If you're not aware, if you hadn't been on a boat, you would think that looks like a giant cell phone, doesn't it? but it's a porthole. But anyway, it's a sailboat. Like how Trueman escaped through the sea, going home, opening the door to heaven. And then this is my favorite. It looks like the old world, like the first world. Okay? Another sailboat. Or it's not really a sailboat, but it's a boat, right? And then up here, what's up here? Stairs. The stairway to heaven over here. A glimmer of light. A glimmer of light. Hopefully y'all can see that. Okay. So, everything means something. Okay? I know that we're in a web, and we that are the true women and true men, okay? The ones that the Father has called for this end time, that we are put into these places. We're caught in a web, caught in a trap. Okay, we're in a web like the World Wide Web, the web of lies, witches weave webs and all these kinds of things. It's like a trap, and they guide us to these places. And this has been multiple places where I've shared some of the things that are on the wall, or like I was in 2 places with cuckoo clocks trying to say I'm crazy. The name, when you put in a password, it meant it was cuckoo. I mean, just things like that, mocking. But these are now positive pictures, okay, instead of the negative, because I believe we're breaking free and we're about to go home, okay? And so what Father showed me about these people that are coming at us, this is huge, y'all. Listen up if you're targeted. I know I talk a lot about stories about me, but it helps to drive this point through of what is actually taking place. All these clown actors and actresses, the circus show that encamps around us and follows us wherever we go. I don't have to leave to go to the circus. It finds me wherever I'm at. But just think, like last night, it was pouring down rain. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm under the covers, comfy in the bed, under the covers, and they're outside doing street theater in the rain at dark, and it got cold last night. For me, like 40 or 50 is cold. So it's in like the 40s or maybe 48. Cold enough to wear a coat, okay? In the rain, in the dark, slamming doors over and over and over again as soon as I try to get into bed to go to sleep, and screaming and yelling. And yeah, it may, because it's so in your face now that that part, because they're not covert anymore. They've been overt for a long time, but it's ramped up times 1,000,000 now. They know we know, okay? They know we can see what they're doing, and we know they're doing it on purpose. And so that goes with trying to aggravate you or make you mad, which is what they feed off of, okay? Because they work for the beast. Rather than get up and see what they're doing, which they feed off of our attention as well. Father said, if you don't take note of them, they don't exist, okay? That's how powerful we are. That's why thousands come against one of us. Scripture even tells us, thousands shall fall by your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but none shall come near you. And that is true. So they only have power if we give it to them, if we allow them to take our power by focusing on the negative. And what Father showed me is, look what Satan's got them doing. He's got them out there clowning, looking like clowns, literally looking like clowns, chain smoking in the rain, dark and cold, while you're comfy in your bed, relaxing. Feel sorry for them, okay? They're already in a hell of sorts, even though we also feel it too. It's like, could you imagine not being free? They're not free, y'all. They're not free. It's sad. We're the free people. We are the free souls, the free spirits. So Trueman escapes on a sailboat, and I had the sailboat, and that, I believe, is when Father really started using me and had my YouTube channel. That's when I got the most subs, by the way. And then within about the first 6 months, it's been blocked. I get very few, or they go backwards. Okay, so I guess at first I was allowed to get through, and then they're like, uh-oh, people are actually listening. So the whole point of the sailboat story, I'll share it with y'all. Then I'll come back on and I will tell this horrible dream, but I believe it's what's taking place with the soul suckers, because this will be too long. I'm praying this goes up. I'm already at an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, snap. I can talk now. So check back in a little bit, and I'm going to upload this video and share with y'all what I think is going on. Trueman escapes on a sailboat. He goes through a door, okay? Let me see if I can find this. So a door, a portal, a window to heaven. Father said, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that cannot be contained. So we're in a container of sorts. Our body, this flesh suit, is like a container. When you empty out everything that's not pleasing to the Lord, that's vibrates of this matrix, then he can completely fill you, okay? And that's when Father showed me about the wine bottles, okay? Wine bottles. Father said, look up the meaning of bottles and the meaning of skins. Well, obviously I knew what skin and bottle was, but I wanted to know the exact meaning, okay? Matthew 9:17, which has changed in the Bible, did say you cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, or the wineskins will break. Now it says wineskins, you can't pour new wine into old wine bottles, okay? Skins, Avatar, whatever it's called, that movie, okay? And that goes with the dream that I'm going to tell y'all in the next thing. I don't want to disclose it because this will be another whole hour. It may not be till this afternoon before I come back with that, but just check back periodically, okay? Bottles is like a container made of glass. So I'm going to leave it at that, and then I will share with y'all what Father showed me, that this horrible dream that he allowed me to have. It was from the enemy, but Father got through in the end. But back on, I have to scrolling on the river. I have to scroll back, y'all, a bunch on this old clunkety camera. So I'll just keep talking about the sailboat. But back on July 28th of this year was the Lionsgate portal, and I knew it was going to be something important, and I actually got it on this clunker camera, because you can't get anything on my phone if I'm even allowed to take pictures. They usually don't let the pictures go through. But this was from July. I gotta keep going. I have so many pictures of like the sun, and we're supposed to look at the sun, moon, and stars as our sign. And there's so many signs going on. So Trueman leaves out of it's hard for me to talk and scroll. But Trueman leaves on a boat where he hits a wall, and then he finds the door and he escapes, right? He goes up some stairs, stairway to heaven, like I just showed you on the picture, and he gets out. And so I believe that's what we're doing. So they're trying anything to get us to still focus on the negative things of this prison that we're in. Like the Matrix said, a prison for your mind. So Father keeps showing me, look above and not below. And he gave me a blessing when I did that the other day. And I had come on and shared like a long video, and the whole thing deleted. So I'm praying this time this goes out. Oh my gosh, I'm still not even there yet. But when I got my sailboat, I'll just tell y'all. So I was blacklisted from work by then. And I had been sleeping on the kitchen floor of where me and my boyfriend had this little efficiency, because I was trying not to sin, so I didn't sleep in the bed with him. And he being a nice gentleman, a younger man, younger than me, and a man, would not give me the bed, nor would he rotate off. One night I get it, one night he did. Why? I asked, why are you making me? Why I'm not making you sleep? You chose to sleep on the kitchen floor because it was so small of an apartment. This is in Florida, that there was no room for a couch or anything. It was just one little room, okay? And so I was trying not to sin. I didn't sin. I stopped sleeping in the bed with him. And again, this was like 7.5 years ago is when this happened. And I slept on the kitchen floor. Little bitty tiny kitchen. Because that was the only space to sleep other than the bathroom. But the whole point is I had a little bit of money saved. And Father told me to get a boat. And I'm like, not get a rope, get a boat. I'm like, get a boat? I found it, finally. Wrap it up. And so I will tell the rest of that in a minute before this clicks off. Hopefully it's still going. So this is the Lionsgate portal that I witnessed July 28th, 2023. This says July 27th, 2023 because this camera is 2 hours early. But it was right after midnight when it opened. That was the beginning of it. Those are clouds, okay? Boy, if y'all could see I can hear it. All the people that gathered around the window. To the window! I've shared this before. So here's where it's starting to open. I'm just going in order as the Lionsgate portal opens. And Father said that is a door to heaven. You're going to be going in this door to heaven. Just keep working on getting out all unrighteousness, anything that's of this world, let it go. We can't have any ties to this world. So it's a blessing everything's been taken from us. It's a blessing, y'all. That's as it's starting to open. There's 2 really amazing pictures coming up, y'all. If y'all want to, just freeze the picture, because this thing is heavy, this bulky camera. So it's hard for me to steady it. Now see the swirl? It's starting to swirl. And in the middle is what y'all want to look at. Wait till y'all see this. It's opening more, and you can start to see the gold. Remember, streets of gold. Still opening. Bam! Tell me that's not a trip. The top part looks like a key, turning it, and that looks like a golden and white bright door opening. But there's one more. This is the most amazing, amazing picture. Look at that, y'all. That is 100% a door in heaven opening. And we who have been made pure through the fiery trial, the refiner's trial, known as being targeted and gang stalked, we're going to be entering that door where there's going to be no more darkness. Now, ready for this? Hold on to your hat. Bam! Tell me that's not, looks just like a door. And this part that's got an outline, this is in the sky, y'all. Right above my head. Or not above my head, but close enough. That looks like when the door cracks open and you just see the side of the door. Look at that. I don't know anybody that got these pictures. And of course, when I uploaded it, nobody cares. Here it is again. And it looks like a swirl around it. Because what? We go up in a whirlwind. A beam of light. Ultrasonic radio light. The solar system in a beam of light. telecommunication. And that's it as it's wrapping up. Is that amazing or what? If y'all could hear all the gatherers that gather around when I'm speaking. So anyway, I'm not going to focus on that. Let me continue. So getting back to Trueman. So he leaves in a boat and he goes up steps like in that picture there where there's a boat, it lands, it goes through the sea, and then goes up where there's a wall, like he hit a wall, right? He's being blocked in, but he goes up the stairs, so he ascends into a doorway which goes into heaven. And I've been shown this in many dreams. So, I only had a certain amount of money, which I had saved from when I actually still could work. And this was in 2016, and Father said he wanted me to get the boat. And I'm like, I can't afford a boat. And then what am I going to do with it? Well, anyway, the whole point is I was led to this old rickety sailboat that I used to have to bail water out of when it rained. It was just, what it was is about a 5x8 size little cabin. It didn't even have a bed. It just had a little bench that I made into a makeshift bed. No kitchen. A porta potty was there, but I didn't use it because, you have to dump it somewhere. But there was a marina, so I would use the marina bathroom. But the whole point is, it was something, right, to where it was mine. Of course, they stole that. High-ranking military commander actually was part of that, but that's for another day. Because they are what? They work for Satan. Hear how loud they are? All of this because I'm speaking truth, but I'm going to continue. So long story short, too late. The boat. So I had only a certain amount of money and I was really nervous. But Father was showing me obedience and his voice and to believe in him and have faith in him and do what he tells me to do. And it would work out, and it did. And so I'm sitting in the cabin with the girl that I bought it from, and it was $600 more than what I had. Or maybe it was $500 more than what I had. And I'm like, Father said, no, you're getting it. I'm like, I don't have the money. And then I told her, if you would take cash, I can pay you now, but this is all I have. And she accepted it. And she actually gave me $100 more off than what I had asked. And that was the amazing thing. So I had the amount of money plus 100 left, which enabled me to have food. And that was it. I had no income, nothing. Didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew Father's voice. But this is how we grow with the Lord. He'll give us signs if you really need a sign and you're asking for it. And especially if you're learning in your walk, like you're starting with your walk. I'm like, Lord, or if it's a really important thing like this was to me, I'm like, Lord, if this is you. Well, the whole thing was a miracle. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to go, go moor it somewhere. And of course, they will come and like steal it. And I'm like, now what do I do, Lord? You're going to get it and you're going to have it at this marina. Well, there's a 2 to 3 year waiting list at this marina. This was in Florida. But because this boat was already at a dock, it was already at a slip, it was grandfathered in. So I got a slip that came with the boat. It was just amazing. And of course, I didn't own the slip or anything. I had to pay for the slip the following month. But that month came with the slip as well. Just amazing stuff. And so I'm sitting in the cabin and I said, Father, in my spirit, I said, Father, I need to know this is you. And he said, look out the window. So there's a porthole, a round window. A porthole is what it's called. A round window. And I look out and there's something swinging in the wind. And I asked the girl what it was, and she said, oh, it's probably a plastic owl. They use those to keep the seagulls from pooping on their boat. So, but that doesn't look like an owl. It wasn't an owl. When it swung around, it was like if this, like, say this is the porthole, the porthole, And this is it right here. The hawk was perfectly like that. And when it swung around, I saw its face and it was a hawk. And those hawks have been signs, supernatural signs from the Most High for me, positive signs that he's with me for years and years. So that was my first sign. The only other sign, that was already good enough, but I really needed something else because like I said, I was still like very nervous about it. I'm like, this is all and I don't know where I'm getting any more money. Okay. And like I said, blacklisted, couldn't even get a job at a grocery store, a dollar store, nothing. They wouldn't even let me do yard work anymore because that's how I was getting work for a while. But long story short, I said, Lord, I really need another sign. Is this you? And he said, ask the name of the boat. Why don't you just tell me the name of the boat? And I asked the girl and she said, go look, it's on the back right there. So I went up on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. And bam! The name of this old rickety sailboat was Amazing Grace. I will never forget it. So many amazing things happened to me on that boat. I missed that boat. They stole it, but I was able to have a lot of wonderful signs and revelations from Father and really start this channel back. So the whole point is, Father reminded me, when did you get that boat? It was on 1/11. So January 11th. Amazing. Yesterday was 11/11, portals opening. And then Father gave me the song, 101 by Creed. I've already talked about that in the other video about the 11/11 portal, but y'all see how this is all amazing. I did not, however, share with y'all. Like I said, I made 3 other videos showing this after it happened, the day it happened, and they deleted all of them. So I'm praying this goes up today. So the other day I went for a walk, really filled with joy of the Lord, and I was being surrounded. You know, they were trying to cut me off as I'm walking, trying to run me over, just doing a lot of stuff. I wasn't able to sit at a little park without just some harassment, okay? And so I'm like, I just got to walk. So I'm just walking around. And Father said, I don't want you looking at them. Don't focus on what the enemy's doing. Focus on me. I'm with you. I'm doing something here. So this is what happened. So as I'm really being surrounded, this phone does not take pictures. It might take pictures 1 out of every 50 times that I try to take a picture. And all the pictures, when I take them, it's something important, like Father is allowing me to take the picture. But recording, you can forget it. But this time I was able to record. And I'm like, I wish I could record this. So here's what happened to me the other day. Hold on. Okay, so Father told me to don't focus on them. They were cutting me off on a little side alley, and I was completely surrounded. Basically, they got so close, had I not a step back, they would have ran over my foot. But here we go. Excuse the noise, but check this out, y'all. I was dancing. The joy of the Lord came over me. Oh, that's right. I was dancing as I was walking down the street. No, I'm not a stripper. I was dancing on the sidewalk. The joy of the Lord came over me. But check this out, y'all. I was dancing. The joy of the Lord came over me in this giant hawk. A giant, huge hawk. Here we go. Bear with me. I'll get it. Huge hawk just flew right over my head. It's perched right there on that light. Get it? Our light was shining our light. Wow. That is huge. So that's the joy of the Lord. He's showing us that he's with us. Wow, there it is. See it? Today is the 6th of November 2023. It's getting stuck with the temporary plates. They can't stop the move of the Most High God. Yeshua is coming no matter what they do. They're really mad. Look at this. Look how cool that is, y'all. I wish I could zoom it in more, but this is a crappy camera. I have 2 pictures of it that's better than that because you can barely see that. Check this out, y'all. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see it because this, like I said, is a crappy phone. But you can see it in the 2 pictures. So here it is. Look how big this thing is. It was so big, at first I thought it was an eagle. And I've been seeing these more and more following me, like following over me. But it landed on a light. Do you get it? Father's saying, shine your light in the darkness. We are a light in the darkness. And then, within seconds, y'all, seconds of me starting to take the picture, of course, people came up screaming. They started chemtrailing right where the hawk was. They don't want people's eyes open to the truth. So that was a sign. So getting back to the hawk. So the hawk sign, the plastic hawk was the first one. What was I looking at when I saw it? A porthole, a portal. Father says we go through the sun, which is a portal, to go home. We go through an opening, a doorway to heaven, a portal of sorts, a gateway. Okay? And then the second sign for my boat was Amazing Grace. And that's all I needed. I got it after that. And I got it on 111. My address was 101. But this is the most amazing other than the name Amazing Grace. You can't beat that. You can't top that one. That's not a normal name for a boat. So my first night living aboard it, I was, getting ready to go to sleep and I hear this noise. And I knew it was a bird. But I couldn't figure out what kind of bird it was. And then I'm like, how is that bird hovering directly over my head? It wasn't moving because there's no trees. I'm on the water. And I went up on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. It was a giant hawk that had landed on my mast. The fact that that happened right when I'm really starting this channel, okay? And now 7 years later, the hawks are reappearing. Like I'll have hawks from time to time, but not, this is usually about every other time I leave. There is a hawk. Even sitting in the back, there is a hawk. When I open the back door, several hawks have been flying by recently. I'm not in the country. You don't see this. I believe that Father reminded me, when did you start your channel? Well, technically it was the 7th of the 10th month, 10/7, so October 7th, of 2016. I had to add there, y'all. I skipped that math class. And also, when did they start the war in Israel? October 7th. 7 years from the day that I first started this channel, but I technically did not start it until 10/11, so 111. I saved the name, Father gave me the name, okay, on the 7th, so no one would get it, but my first video was done on the 11th of October. But 111, 101 by Creed, which also means something to me. And shout out to you, Brother Timothy. That's funny. You love them too. Creed. But anyway, that's the band that sang that song. So then 111 of the following year is when I really started doing the videos and really hearing from the Lord, and he was downloading all these things. And on the boat is when I got the name Regulators Mount Up. And I got the revelation. Jesus came carrying a toolbox saying I would be working for him from now on. And I was wondering, why a toolbox? Well, because he's a carpenter. But then Father said, these are the tools you're going to need. Jesus is giving you the tools you will need to complete your mission. Just everything has been amazing. It's been a what? Whirlwind. But I looked out a porthole, okay, and saw the hawk. And then that same night, a hawk landed on my mast. And there's over 350 boats out there, y'all. And it picked my boat to land on. You can't make this up. And so now the hawk is reappearing like daily or every other day. So I believe that this shows that we're about to what? Set sail. Sailing takes me away to where I'm, whatever that song is. And then come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. And then this is even kind of beachy, right? So here's the lime green in the ice machine. Those that took the Lucifer, you know what? They're glowing, glowworm green, and we're blue, blue star, blue planet. So I just wanted to share with y'all more about the Truman Show, and what do y'all think? I think we're the true people in a whole sea filled with actors and actresses because they sold their soul. They bowed down to the beast, so they're no longer human. So the Most High God is lifting up the true light, okay? Those that did not sell out to the MOTB and that are true, created in his image, that are still his image. So I hope this gives y'all encouragement. And when you're being gang stalked and they're doing all these things to you, just think about how pitiful they actually are to have to do these things. And that who cares what they say? Who cares what they do? Okay, work on ourselves. Father's saying, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. We're about out of here, y'all. I will upload this video about the dream about soul suckers, which I feel is important, really important. I'm sorry. I will try to upload. I'm being hit right now, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear. But anyway, also the thing with the noise, the reason why they do that to us, Father showed me, is because it lowers our energy. It lowers our vibration. So try to lift yourself out of that by singing, by praising the Lord, by reading scripture, by being grateful and thankful for all the amazing things he's done for us. We are truly blessed to go through this refiner's fire, y'all. We're about free. I'm out.